Polypede Works here, coming to you once again with a very dark One Piece chapter, specifically chapter 1180 entitled Omen. So, Eniru is just here again, I guess, because Imu looks exactly like Eniru. The silhouette is pretty similar because in this chapter, we actually get full art of Imu in their hybrid state from the looks of it. The skulls that were on the ribbon in the previous chapter are stitched to said ribbon as they have stitches around the skull cap. So that is weird. I wonder if they're real skulls or not. It's very hard to actually determine what's going on here, but the silhouette is very much like Eniru. The baggy pants, and then you have the, I guess, the Albathian belt, and then some other material under that, which is more or less what Eniru had going on, because he had two blue pieces of cloth that met at his waist. And then, you went the orange pants underneath. But it's very odd that he looks exactly like Eniru. And then the big ring of eyes does not help. And the funny part about that is, as we go through the chapter, I originally thought that was the Hagoromo cloud. I think that's just an effect of the fruit. I don't think he or they, not sure. I don't think they are in an awakened state. Also, they look super feminine. Like, this is a female face. I don't know. That's why I'm so hesitant to call Imu a he, and I'm settling on they, because that's a woman's face. I'm not going to say it's a Griffith thing, because once again, what does base Imu look like? We don't know. That's why calling this a man doesn't feel correct. And that's just my gut feeling. But yeah, the eye is super feminine. They have feminine lips, which men never really have in One Piece. This is a feminine face shape. I don't know what to say. It looks like a woman's head on a male's body. That's why I'm like, I think the body swap thing is still relevant. I gotta be honest with you. I still think it is. Because what is this? Also, the staff that they are carrying might just be part of the fruit too. So, as Imu lands, they spot Gerd holding Somers' body, and poof, her fingers are gone. They cut her fingers off, just gore immediately, which is crazy. Somers is freed. Gerd has been mutilated, which is, wow. When have we had this? Is this a first? Out of over 1,000 chapters, I don't remember anything being this extreme. Zoro goes to face Imu as Somers recovers his weird mechanical beating heart. Then Haruden comes out of nowhere to face Imu. Stanson kicks him out of the way, and then Stance's leg is gone. These slashes are so fast. It's kind of insane. But leg amputated. At the knee, too. Oh my word. At the knee. Yikes. So yeah, gone. Leg gone. Zoro goes on the offensive. 3-sword style. King of Hell. Onigiri. Blocked by the ribbon. And yes, again, that's not a tail. That's the ribbon. That's why I made that video saying their abilities are very similar to Gonko. Because this is not a tail. This is a full ribbon. And it's weird. It's weird that it was dense enough to block Zoro. So I don't know. And it's weird how fast it is. Imu, as if flicking a booger, or like, I guess, a nose fancy cannon if you're a fan of Mr. 5. They say Omen and flick Zoro like a bug. And Zoro is gone. Knocked out. Haruden comes from the back with an axe, and Imu shoots out a little ghost Pokemon from their hand and causes an explosion. Wow. It just blows Haruden up. That's it. He's gone. decimated. He spits up blood and everything. It's crazy. But Emu makes a black halo that looks like the halo on their back, and it fully revives Summers, because Summers was already put back together, but I guess this is like a full restore in Pokemon, and now he's back to full health. This seems so familiar, like I've seen it in a video game before. A halo that you can cast on your allies that brings them back to full health. It looks so familiar. I don't know where it's from though. And yeah, that halo stays on him and the two just jump off and leave. So I'm not sure if this is moonwalk or what, but yeah, that's weird. And as soon as Emu leaves, the buildings lose their demon possession. So that's interesting. Now, here's the big reveal. Emu has feathered wings. Now, before anyone says, no, Emu is not a Lunarian. These are magic wings. These are a part of the devil fruit. Here's the funny part. We made a video about the Baphomet, right? And how Emu might have the Baphomet fruit. I still think this could be the bat fruit mythical model Baphomet, even with the feathered wings. But the funny thing about all the depictions of the Baphomet is that the Baphomet has feathered wings. I think we called it. I haven't heard anyone else call it. So until further notice, we'll see. We shall see. But I think this is the Baphomet fruit. I think it is. So Emu is actually flying. So this has to be a flying fruit of some sort. So it's either a bat based on the other abilities that Emu has inflicted on others and giving them bat wings, or this is a bird, which would be weird, but we've had that before. Something that has looked nothing like a bird. I believe it was like in a stage play or something called the Nue, the bird fruit mythical model Nue, I believe. And a character that looked like Momonosuke had it, but I believe it was like in a stage play or something like that. So we've had weird stuff like this before, so I don't know. We'll have to see. A bat, I think, is still on the table. So as Emu is flying, they spot Ragnar's ice block, and they shoot out a little demon ghost Pokemon thing from their staff, the end that was enveloped in clouds, which we did say that would be a multi-purpose end. And that blows up the ice block, apparently. And since Emu has given Gunko the power of immortality and perhaps the better version of this, I guess, bestowment, they don't have to worry about Gunko regenerating because she has the best regeneration. So Gaban senses some hockey coming up, and at the Walrus School, Luffy, Ragnar, and Loki eat up some of the burnt food, and Loki says, oh, something is coming, and Luffy has sensed it as well. So yeah, they are aware that Emu has arrived. Back at the Straw Hats, Frankie, Jinbei, and Nami have noticed that something is happening. Rimoshifu Killingham is being revived, and I didn't notice all this time. He's in his full human state, so that's new because he never was before. So that's wild. I didn't even notice. So yeah, Rimoshifu Killingham is being revived by the same weird halo that Summers was revived by, and Emu makes their landing. Sanji spots Emu and goes in for an Ifrit Jumbe kick. Has to be an Ifrit Jumbe. And it is blocked immediately by Emu. Emu swats him away and kicks him, which causes another explosion, which is wild. But that is when big boy Loki appears. And Emu says, 14 years ago, Harold was killed here. I have come to find the one responsible. He was my servant. And Loki's like, what are you talking about? I was my daddy, fool. That's crazy. That is crazy. Emu says, I see. If thou had not been here, many tribulations could have been avoided. Loki responds, where in the world would I be but Elbaf? And you better remember that next time, you idiot. That is crazy. And here's the funny thing about the size. I thought Emu was way bigger, but they are not. They're about the size of Big Mom, or perhaps a little smaller. They're a large individual because they're bigger than Zoro, they're bigger than Sanji by a great deal. They might be Kaido size, perhaps, because they're still quite big in comparison to a giant, which is interesting. So yeah, that's the end of the chapter. No break next week, but I am very curious now as to what's going to happen because we know Loki is immune to Emu's abilities. happens and Luffy has to come on the scene. I think a big cause of pause that might happen is when Loki's eyes are revealed, because that still hasn't happened yet, as he's wearing the blindfold now. So there's a lot of things that need to happen. Also, a storm has approached. So I wonder, is that based on Loki's mood? Can he just make thunder and snow happen when he's angry? That's an interesting thought. I wonder indeed. And I wonder who has the lightning abilities other than Loki, because I always thought that Ragnar had some control over lightning, or again, maybe that's just the metal that Ragnar's made out of that have some properties to summon lightning. I'm not sure. If I had to bet, I would think that would be a mythical zone ability, but I think we do need a big breakdown. But yeah, we'll have Loki and presumably Luffy versus IMU. I wonder what's going to happen next. Now, here's another weird part. We actually get to see the cape of IMU in full this time. And it is just the Depths Covenant on their cloak, because we know there are at least 3. And we've never seen the third one. So yeah, that's weird. You would think they would have the most powerful one on their cloak, but they don't. I guess they have the one that they use the most, maybe. Also, it's very strange how kind they are to their subordinates. I didn't expect that. No, I just didn't. I really didn't expect that. So that does make them weirdly human in a way, because this human kindness is something I wouldn't expect from a villain like IMU. Very odd, actually. Very odd, but very interesting. Very interesting indeed. And they care about their subordinates because they treat Harold like a possession, but extending care at all is still curious, even if Harold is seen as a possession. That's still weird. So yeah, IMU has a bit of character depth going on, but I still say that's a female face. I don't care. That looks like a woman. I'm just going to be upfront. It looks like a woman. So we'll have to wait and see what the actual body of IMU looks like. It will be interesting if either Loki or Luffy knock them out of their Zoan form temporarily so we can see. I really want to see, because this is so interesting. Oda never draws a character like this. Okay, well, that's all I have for you today. Very interesting chapter despite being so short. If you are enjoying the video so far, hit the like button followed by the subscribe button if you want to see more from me. And then don't forget to ring that bell so you never miss a video. In addition, hit the hype button because it really does help. With that being said, give me your thoughts and tell your friends about Polypede Waxing.